When you hear a show tune from the great white way, does a shiver run through ya? Well, we're giving them to ya. Sing hallelujah and shout hooray. Come on along and listen to Broadway to Main Street. USA.
Bomb, 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 for dang a dang dang, for ding a dong ding, blue moon, moon, blue moon, dip 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 dip, blue moon, moon, blue moon, dip 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 dip, blue moon, moon, blue moon, dip 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 dip, bomb, 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 for dang a dang dang, for ding a dong ding, blue moon, moon, moon. You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. For dang dang dang, for ding and on ding blue moon. You knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really care for. And then the suddenly, oh please, before me, the only one mounts would ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Oh, blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Bomb, 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 for dang, 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 for ding, and on, ding, blue. Bomb, 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 for dang, 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 for ding, and on, ding, blue. Bomb, 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 for dang, 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 for ding, and on, ding, blue moon.
And that was the Marcells taking us into a new decade and a new way of looking at the great lyricist Lorenz Hart. Hello, this is Larry Maslon, your host for Broadway to Main Street, here on 88.3 WLIW FM, Long Island's only signature, one-of-a-kind, individual, ship without a sailing NPR station. Well, this is part two of our look at the work of lyricist Lorenz Hart, music, of course, by Richard Rodgers, inspired by this film, which has already racked up a couple of Academy Award nominations. Blue Moon, which has a tremendous performance by Ethan Hawke at the center. I had some quibbles with it. I guess I would. I'm the least likely person to embrace something like this uncritically. But let us contextualize this movie. We had part one last week. Here's part two. We move into the legacy of Rodgers and Hart. In 1940, they wrote Pal Joey. It opened on Christmas Day and considered to be their masterpiece. It's one of the great scores ever written for a show. But there was no cast album because there was a songwriter strike back then, a musician strike. No, it was an ASCAP strike, so music publisher strike. Anyway, didn't get a lot of radio play. It was revived as a studio album by Goddard Lieberson at Columbia in 1950, and it starred the original Vera Simpson, Vivian Siegel, who is mentioned a couple of times in the movie. So here is from that legendary 1950 studio cast album, Harold Lang and Vivian Siegel.
Just two little lovebirds all alone in a little cozy nest with a little secret telephone. That's the place to rest.
Artificial roses round the door, they are never out of bloom.
And a flowered carpet on the floor in the living room.
In our little our arrangement is good.
It's much more healthy living here. This rushing back home is bad, my dear.
I haven't caught a cold all year.
Knock on wood.
It was ever thus since antiquity. All the poets agree.
The chambermaid is very kind. She always thinks we're so refined.
Of course she's deaf and dumb and blind. No fools we in our little den of iniquity. In our little den of iniquity, for a girlie and boy.
We'll sit and let the hours pass. A canopy bed has so much class.
And so's a ceiling made of glass. Oh, what joy! Love has been that way since antiquity, down to you and to me.
The radio I used to hate. Now when it is dark and late, Tchaikovsky's 1812 sounds great. That's for me
In our little den of iniquity. Antiquity, down to you and to me. We're very proper folks, you know.
We've separate bedrooms, comme il faut. There's one for play and one for show.
You chase me in our little den of iniquity.
I've interviewed the great Stravinsky. But my greatest achievement was the interview I had with the star who worked for Minsky. I met her at the Yankee Clipper, and she didn't unzip one zipper. I said, Miss Lee, you are such an artist. Tell me why you never miss. What do you think of while you work? And she said, while I work, my thoughts go something like this. Zip, Walter Lippmann wasn't brilliant today. Zip, will Soroyan ever write a great play? Zip, I was reading Schopenhauer last night. Zip, and I think that Schopenhauer was right. I don't want to see Zarina, I don't want to meet Cabina. Zip, I'm an intellectual. I don't like a deep contralto or a man whose voice is alto. Zip, I'm a heterosexual. Zip, it took intellect to master my art. Zip, who the hell is Margie Hart? Zip, I consider Dolly's paintings passe. Zip, will they make the Met metropolitan pay. Zip, English people don't say clerk, they say Clark. Zip, anybody who says Clark is a jark. I adore the great Confucius and the lines of luscious Lucius. Zip, I am so eclectic, I don't care for either Mickey Mouse or Rooney, makes me sicky. Zip, I'm a little hectic. Zip, my artistic taste is classic and dear. Zip, who the hell's Lily St. Cyr?
That, of course, was Elaine Stritch. Now, it gets complicated here because that is the 1952 Broadway revival. The 1950 cast album was so successful that they did a revival on Broadway. But when they recorded that, they didn't use the original cast of Harold Lang and Vivian Siegel. They did a studio recording, but they dragged it, and it doesn't matter. That's Elaine Stritch singing the great song Zip from Pal Joey, one of the classic scores of all time, written by Rodgers and Hart. The great songs that we know by Rodgers and Hart were not terribly well recorded in the 30s and 40s. It really only was after the war and in the early 50s that everybody jumped on them, mostly because of the LP, long-playing record concept, in which singers had contracts and they needed to record, 10, 11, 12, 13 songs that had real meat and real, gravity to them. And of course, they gravitated to Rodgers and Hart. Here is Frank Sinatra with one of the first recordings of this great song from the album In the Wee Small Hours. It Never Entered My Mind, from a show called Higher and Higher, 1940, and Sinatra did a kind of boulderized version of the movie. Doesn't matter. Great song.
Once I laughed when I heard you saying that I'd be playing solitaire, uneasy in my easy chair. It never entered my mind. Once you told me I was mistaken, that I'd awaken with the sun and order orange juice for one. It never entered my mind. You have what I lack myself. Now I even have to scratch my back myself. Once you warned me that if you scorned me, I'd say a lonely prayer again and wish that you were there again to get into my hair again. It never entered my Look at yourself. If you had a sense of humor, you would laugh to beat the band. Look at yourself. Do you still believe the rumor that romance is simply grand? Since you took it right on the chin, you have lost that bright toothpaste grin. My mental state is all a jumble. I sit around and sadly mumble. Fools rush in, so here I am, very glad to be unhappy. I can't win, but here I am, more than glad to be unhappy. Unrequited love's a bore, and I've got it pretty bad. But for someone you adore, it's a pleasure to be sad, like a straying baby lamb, with no mommy and no pappy. I'm so unhappy, but oh, so glad. Unrequited love's a bore, and I've got it pretty bad. But for someone you adore, it's a pleasure to be sad, like a straying baby lamb, with no mommy and no pappy. I'm so unhappy, but so glad.
Sammy Davis Jr., also 1955, from his album starring Sammy Davis Jr. I think that's his first Decca album. And that is a song from On Your Toes, which is one of the first recordings ever, as late as 1955. My goodness. Well, the one who really knocked it out of the park was Ella Fitzgerald in 1956 with her 2 LP. Ella Fitzgerald sings the Rodgers and Hart songbook. She sings a song here from the 20s that just knocks me out. It's one of the great lyrical inventions of all time, in my opinion. Lyrics by Lorenz Hart, music by Richard Rodgers.
I don't know what day it is, or if it's dark or fair. Somehow that's just the way it is, and I don't really care. I go to this or that place, I seem alive and well. My head is just a hat place, my breast an empty shell, and I've a faded dream to sell. All alone, all at sea, why does nobody care for me when there's no love to hold my love? Why is my heart so frail? ship without a sail. Out on the ocean, sailors can use a chart. I'm on the ocean, guided by just a lonely heart. Still alone, still at sea, still there's no one to care for me. When there's no hand to hold my hand, life is a loveless tale for a ship without a sail.
When two lips of coral want to kiss.
was Peggy Lee, a big hit for her in the early 1960s, and that was a kind of Latinized version of a song from a Rodgers and Hart movie called Love Me Tonight. Supposedly Richard Rodgers saw her at a cocktail party, even though the song was charting big, and said, "Miss Lee, it's a waltz, darn it." He could be a grumpy guy, as that movie sort of pointed out. This is Larry Maslon. We're looking at the music of Richard Rodgers and the lyrics of Lorenz Hart, who's now in this movie, Blue Moon, and being introduced, hopefully, to a whole new generation. Speaking of new generations, they wrote a show, I think it was their first show back from Hollywood in 1935, called Jumbo, and this was not filmed until 1962. But it had Doris Day in the lead, and boy, does she know how to interpret a Rodgers and Hart song. So, from the film of Jumbo, Doris Day.
My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. No month of May, no twinkling stars, no hideaway, no soft guitars. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain, nor a dance to a constantly surprising refrain. Wide awake, I can make my most fantastic dreams come true. My romance doesn't need a thing but you.
sit there, count the raindrops falling on you. Each time you knew all you can ever count on are the raindrops that fall on little girl blue. Won't you just sit there, count the little raindrops falling on you. 'Cause it's time you knew all you can ever count on are the raindrops that fall on little girl blue. No use, old girl, you might as well surrender, 'cause your hopes are getting slender and slender. Why won't somebody send a tender blue boy to cheer up little girl blue?
That was the one, the only Nina Simone singing another song from Jumbo with a little bit of a good King Wenceslas. I mean, it shows you how imaginative her musical brain was. And now we get into the 60s where people are really loving Rodgers and Hart and interpreting them on tons of albums, you know, Sarah Vaughan and Tony Bennett and so on and so forth. A weird show was called Rodgers and Hart 1967 or something, revisited 1967, a primetime special in 1967 that put all these pop groups, Bobby Darin and the Mamas and the Papas and the Supremes, singing these classic songs. Oh, who were they? What were they thinking? Doesn't matter. Here are the Supremes singing a great song from the Boys from Syracuse.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. This can't be love because I feel so well. No songs, no sorrows, no sighs. This can't be love, I get no dizzy spells. My head is not in the skies. My heart does not stand still, just hear it beat. It's much too sweet to be loved. This can't be love because I feel so well. I love to look, I love to look, I love to look in your eyes. This can't be love because I feel so well. No sobs, no sorrows, no sighs. This can't be love, I get no dizzy spells. My head is not in the skies. My heart does not stand still, just hear it beat. It's much too sweet to be loved. This can't be love because I feel so well. I love to look in your eyes. I love to look.
that was the Mamas and the Papas, another song from Boys from Syracuse, Sing for Your Supper. My goodness. Well, we're getting into the 21st century. Rodgers and Hart have not gone anywhere. Certainly if you're a great jazz or cabaret artist, here is Cecile McLaurin-Salvant singing a great song by Rodgers and Hart.
I have eyes for you to give you dirty looks. I have words that do not come from children's books. There's a trick with a knife I'm learning to do, and everything I've got belongs to you. I've a powerful anesthesia in my fist, and the perfect wrist to give your neck a twist. Hammerlock holds, I've mastered a few, and everything I've got belongs to you. Share for share, share alike. You get struck each time I strike. Me for you, you for me. I'll give you plenty of nothing. I'm not yours for better but for worse. And I've learned to give the well-known witch's curse. I've a terrible tongue and a temper for two. And everything I've got, ooh, it's not a lot. Everything I've got belongs to you.
What's the use of hands if there's no one to hold? What's the use of hearts if they have to be cold? What's the use of having very good ears when nobody tells the story that cheers? There's no use in having feet, it appears, with none to run to. What's the use of lips if there's no one to kiss? What's the use of eyes if they never see bliss? When the April moon is shining above and spring begins to give the winter a shove, what's the use if there's no one to love? What's the use of having very good ears when nobody tells the story that cheers? There's no use in having feet, it appears, with none to run to. What's the use of lips if there's no one to kiss? What's the use of eyes if they never see bliss? When the April moon is shining above and spring begins to give the winter a shove, what's the use if there's no one to love?
That was our good friend Eric Comstock. Oh, what a beautiful song that he reclaimed from the myths of the past. Lido Lady, 1926. Such a beautiful song that he obviously taps into, as the movie Blue Moon does, the existential loneliness of Lorenz Hart. Well, Tony Bennett sang so much Rodgers and Hart. He did a jazz album of Rodgers and Hart. Here he is with Lady Gaga, singing a great song from Babes in Arms.
hungry for dinner at 8.
I'm starving.
She loves the theater, but she never comes late.
I never bother with people that I hate. That's why this chick is a tramp.
She doesn't like crap games with barons and earls.
I won't go to Harlem in diamonds and pearls. And I definitely won't dish our dirt with the rest of those girls.
Thank you. That's why the lady is a tramp.
I love the free, fresh wind in my hair.
Life without care.
Oh, I'm so broke.
It's oak.
I hate California. It's crowded and damn.
That's why the lady is a tramp.
Sometimes I go to Coney Island.
Oh, the beach is divine.
And I love the Yankees.
Jeter's just fine.
I follow Rodgers and Hart.
She sings every line. That's why the lady is a tramp.
I love a prize fight.
That isn't a fake.
No fake. And I love to rowboat with you and your wife in Central Parkway.
She goes to the opera and stays wide awake.
Yes, I do. That's why this lady is a tramp.
She likes the green grass under her shoes.
What can I lose? 'Cause I got no dough.
Oh no?
I'm all alone when I lower my lamp.
That's why the lady is a tramp. Go!
I love your free, fresh. I love your handkerchief in my hair.
Life without care.
Polka dot, but I'm so broke.
That's so. Hates California. It's cold and it's damp. That's why the lady is a tramp. That's why the lady is a tramp.
That's why a lady is a tramp.
That was Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga showing how au courant Rodgers and Hart are. Well, the movie Blue Moon is out. If you like this kind of music, you should catch it. You'll have your own opinions about it. It's quite extraordinary to bring through Ethan Hawke's performance the very complicated life of Larry Hart to a new generation. Everyone who's anyone has recorded Rodgers and Hart, but for my money, his greatest interpreter is Mary Claire Harron, a cabaret artist who left us all too soon. She loved him. She just got him in such a way. And this recording called Of My Friend the Night, song from the 20s, I think it's from a movie song actually from the 30s that never made it to the screen, shows how deeply she understands his complicated and yet immortal personality. So thanks for listening to two parts of Larry Hart. He'll always be part of my heart and my friend in the night.
Noisy parties of drunken buffoons, jazz bands screeching detestable tunes, odor of cigarettes, stench of cigars. That's why I want to walk under the stars. Hollow laughter and scrambled affairs, lifted eyebrows and gossip and stares, parlors and people and shackles and bars. That's why I want to walk on the stars. My friend, the night looks down on me with gentle eyes of the stars. My friend, the night, his touch is light on me. His fingers are the summer breeze in its flight. My friend, the night, when he lifts his voice in boisterous commotion, he blows a gale of laughter in my ear. He slaps me with the surging of the ocean as a symbol of his devotion. My friend, the night, looks down on me and watches me while I sleep. He holds me tight, my friend, the when he lifts his voice in boisterous commotion, he blows a gale of laughter in my ear. He slaps me with the surging of the ocean as a symbol of his devotion. My friend, the night, looks down on me and watches me while I sleep. He holds me tight. He holds me tight. My friend, the
Well, where is the time all gone to? This is Larry Maslon here at Broadway to Main Street. Let's catch up next Sunday at 3.
There's so much more embracing still to be done, but time is racing. Oh, well, we'll catch up some other time.